Welcome back to Sunday Night in America. The U.S. ambassador to China was apparently hacked as part of China's continuing cyber aggression against the West. Meanwhile, bridges are being blown up in Ukraine. Food is being used as a weapon. And speaking of weapons, has the U.S. lost track of some of the weapons sent to Ukraine? Could those weapons have actually fallen into enemy hands? The world continues to be a dangerous place. So let's bring in Senator Tom Cotton from the great state of Arkansas. Senator, thank you for joining us. We'll start with Ukraine. Bridges are being blown up, food's being weaponized, and there are reports that U.S. weapons may have been misplaced. Where do you think we stand with the war in Eastern Europe?
Well, Trey, all those issues you mentioned, whether it's Ukraine or China or for that matter Iran, have a common thread. They're not deterred by Joe Biden because Joe Biden has been timid and weak as a leader for the last 2.5 years. You saw it in the lead up to the war in Ukraine. Joe Biden didn't provide Ukraine and NATO with the strong leadership necessary to deter an invasion. That's what tempted Vladimir Putin to go for the jugular. And you've seen it for the last 1.5 years as well. Joe Biden has been pussyfooting around. He hasn't provided Ukraine with the weapons they need, first to defend their territory, and then second, to take it back. Time after time after time, he said that he's going to not provide a certain kind of weapon because he's afraid that it will escalate the conflict, whether it's anti-tank missiles or long-range artillery or cluster munitions. Now it's long-range attack missiles and aircraft. Yet at the exact same time that the Biden administration is denying Ukraine the weapons they need to win this war quickly, it's in complaining about the fact that its offensive is going more slowly than they would have expected. They can't have it both ways. What they should do is stop pledging to support Ukraine for as long as it will take, and rather help them win as quickly as they can.
You know, Tommy, you raise a question that I've often had, which is why the Biden administration waits until either the last minute or maybe too late to provide the weapons that Ukraine is asking for. I mean, either provide them or not. Why this song and dance where they wait them out?
Well, President Biden is consistently acting like an elephant who's seen a mouse and jumped up on a table. Every time Vladimir Putin threatens some kind of retaliation or escalation, should we provide Ukraine a certain kind of weapon, Joe Biden is deterred until 3 or 4 months later when he finally gives Ukraine the weapons they need. And yet again, you don't see you don't see Vladimir Putin following through on those threats. Look at what's just happened in the last week. Putin has started blowing up granaries that can help feed 400 million peoples around the world. And he's threatened to attack commercial shipping in the Black Sea. The international seas, a sea where we have 3 NATO countries with coastline, where the United States Navy has a long history of patrolling. Yet the Navy was pulled out of there 18 months ago, and we have not gone back. We are essentially ceding the Black Sea to Vladimir Putin because Joe Biden is scared by his threats, which time and again have proven idle.
All right, before I let you go, I got to ask you about China. There are reports that China was spying, intercepting the emails of U.S. diplomats. I hope that doesn't surprise anyone. I know it doesn't surprise you. Where are we in our either confrontation or coordination? What is our relationship with China? Because I hear mixed signals from the Biden administration.
Well, Trey, where we are is at a very dangerous moment. Xi Jinping just started his third 5-year term. He and the Communist Party have had a long-held desire to invade Taiwan and annex it to the mainland. Joe Biden is tempting them to that trial of strength by continuing to ignore these provocations, whether it's hacking into the ambassador's email accounts or sending a balloon across the United States or threatening our neighbors in the Western Pacific. Every time President Biden and senior administration officials ignore these provocative actions, we don't retaliate. We say the page is turned and we send John Kerry jet-setting over to China to try to make a deal on climate change, or Janet Yellen to go to China to promise them that we're not really taking their trade violations seriously. It emboldens the Chinese communists. What we need is strong early deterrence, vigilance, and a strong will to deter conflict with China.
Tom Cotton from the great state of Arkansas, who also, by the way, served in uniform, infantry, if I'm not mistaken, Senator. Thank you so much for joining us on a Sunday night.
Thank you, Trey.